they claim that we are forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of their allegations.
While chief and the body policy should not participate in partisan politics.
Its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
For us, we only wide the facts. Respect the decision of the party. Whoever they are going to choose, but seeking our numbers can go show.
You were once members of the party.
Yes.
So it's easier for you to come back.
Aya marali enango vaota abantu kukwera kusokolo, but UPPZ is trying to show a difference.
The issue I'll never rest until we see justice served.
Munamotuwaikala mwa Julius, munokusekelela, munyemba wati, tuwachula sana. Ama voting yaisa ba MP bafukama bakunjula tukotele nikoteleni. Ifatu kakusha ifro. Tuleba kotela tolale kata declare kinaba wina. Bati sitatila.
It's a motion that attempts to destabilize the governance of this country, if at all, by whatever misfortune it succeeded.
Hello everyone, my name is Mijala Malambo, Miss Zambia Golden Jubilee and Miss Africa First Princess. Keep watching Revelation TV.
My name is Henry. My name is Innocent. My name is Emmanuel Basmo. Keep on watching Revelation TV.
They claim that we are forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of their allegations.
While chief and the body policy should not participate in partisan politics.
Its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
Abana bantu kuba nili pano so nilabana ku nyumba huko so pano kweli kambi pano nikatipia ndiramba.
For us, we only wide the facts. Respect the decision of the party. Whoever they are going to choose, but seeking our numbers can go show.
You were once members of the party.
Yes.
So it's easier for you to come back.
Aya marali enango vaota abantu kukwera kusokolo, but UPPZ is trying to show a difference.
The issue I'll never rest until we see justice served.
Munamotuwaikala mwa Julius, munokusekelela, munyemba wati, tuwachula sana. Ama voting yaisa ba MP bafukama bakunjula tukotele nikoteleni. ifa tukakusha iprovu tuleba botera tebale tata declare tinabawina batusitachila.
It's a motion that attempts to destabilize the governance of this country, if at all, by whatever misfortune it succeeded.
Hello everyone, my name is Mijala Malambo, Miss Zambia Golden Jubilee and Miss Africa First Princess. Keep watching Revelation TV.
My name is Henry. My name is Innocent. My name is Emmanuel Pasmo. Keep on watching Revelation TV.
Claim that were forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the allegations.
Worship and the body politic should not participate in partisan politics.
Pakateka n'abakwata Egypt, its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
Kuzisa abana bana kuba nibyo niri pano so nirabana mu nyumba uko so pano bene kambe pano nukira kujipira ndiraba.
For us, we only ride on the facts.
Respect the decision of the party, whoever they are going to choose, but seeking numbers can go sure.
You were once members of the party.
Yes.
So it's easier for you to come back.
aya marali enango baota abantu kukwera kusokolo, but UPP is trying to show a difference.
The issue I'll never rest until we see justice served.
Muna moto waikala mwa Julius kunokusekelela kunyemba wati tuachula sana ama voting yaisa baisa ba MP bafukama bakunkula tukosele nikotereni ifa tukakusha iprovu tuleba botera tebale tata declare tinabawina batusitachila.
It's a motion that attempts to destabilize the governance of this country, if at all, by whatever misfortune it succeeded.
I'm urging all of you viewers to continue watching Revelation TV on channel number 96 on GoTV. God bless you. Shalom.
Hi, this is Gilbert, aka Clergy. Keep watching Revelation TV.
Hello, children of God. You are watching Revelation TV. My name is Patrick Nsonda, Igwe Special. Keep watching Revelation TV.
Keep watching Revelation TV. You never go wrong.
With Mrs. Priska Pamela. And I urge everyone out there, keep on watching Revelation TV.
Hi viewers, my name is Kayombo, a gospel artist from the Kope belt. Keep watching Revelation TV, your life and your story will never be the same.
Hi, my name is Natasha. Hi, my name is Chanel. Keep watching Revelation TV.
It's Constance Chiava. My name is Valentine Chiava. Keep watching Revelation TV.
Again, keep watching Revelation TV. It is your best channel, delivering God's people. God bless you.
Keep watching Revelation TV.
Spitilizani kutamba Revelation TV.
Keep on watching Revelation TV.
Stay tuned to Revelation TV.
Keep
Keep watching Revelation TV. Keep watching Revelation TV. God bless you.
Everyone is watching Revelation TV. Don't be left out. You too, keep on watching Revelation TV.
Claim that we have 40 signatures. Maybe you remember some of the allegations.
Worship and the body politic should not participate in partisan politics.
Pakateka n'abakwata Injito, its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.
Kuzisa abana bantu kuba nili pano so nila bana ku nyumba huko so pano bali kambi pano nufika tulipia ndiramba.
For us, we only ride on the facts.
Respect the decision of the party. Whoever they are going to choose, but seeking our numbers can go short.
You were once members of the party.
Yes.
So it's easier for you to come back.
Ndiyopotera msogoleri wameneakearinga msogoleri wamenanganya pali future. Aya marali enango baota abantu kukwera kusogolo, but UPPZ is trying to show a difference.
The issue I'll never rest until we see justice served.
Muna moto waikala mwa Julius kuno kusekelela kunyemba wati kuachula sana ama voting yaisa baisa ba MP bafukama bakunkula tukosele nikogerero ifo tukakusha ifro tuleba botera tebale kata declare kinaba wina bati sitatila.
It's a motion that attempts to destabilize the governance of this country, if at all, by whatever misfortune.
And welcome to the society, which comes to you every Wednesday from 18 to 19 hours. And this evening I'm hosting a UPPZ national spokesperson, Francis Kope, who just here to help us discuss a number of issues affecting our nation. And we are live on 3 platforms: Movie TV, channel 43, on Topstar, channel 458, as well as on God TV, channel 96. I'm your host, Kayombo, and in case you want to be part of our program, the number to SMS is 0978 43 74 37. That is 0978 43 74 37. Mr. Kope, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
After a marathon of campaigns.
After a marathon of campaigns, and of course this place brings a lot of memories. The digital migration,
yes,
being the first channel to go digital, and all those things. So it's a good place to brings me back home in terms of the media fraternity.
Yes.
And I wish that one day I'll be the Minister of Information to just sort out the media issues and things.
No, as the man thinketh, so yes. So what to confess, definitely come to pass. And I think before we get down to issues at hand this evening, I want us to do a post-mortem of the last mayoral and council chairperson by-election, which was just a few days from today. Maybe as UPPZ, maybe just try to highlight with us what lessons did you learn from the last elections?
Wow, it was the first election that we were, having in terms of, such magnitude, one of the biggest elections that we had. Mind you, we had 3 candidates. We had a candidate in Chilanga district. We had a candidate in, that was Mr. Christopher Mlenga. We had a candidate in Chipangali, David Kapwata, who did very, very well. And we also had a candidate here in Lusaka, talking of 7 constituencies, under Lusaka district. So it was very interesting, and I must hasten to say that this particular election, when it comes to our candidates, I think we had the best candidates, and being a by-election as it is, and what a by-election is known for, sometimes, obviously, as UPPZ, we are coming here to change, how things are being, perceived. Okay. So we had best candidates. Leo Madaiso Msukwa here in Lusaka. He was a good candidate. You could see him articulating issues. He understood what he was talking about, and he was part of what he was talking about. It's not just about a talk of I'll help you do this and that and that. He was going through these challenges that most Zambian youths as well as men and people are passing through. So he's a candidate who might not be termed as having a political experience, but somebody who had experience in terms of first-hand experience at the university, first-hand experience, as somebody who is coming from a family and who wants this Zambian dream to be fulfilled. So basically, if you talk about the lessons that could be learned from the past elections, perhaps could be that sometimes a good candidate might not be voted into, into power. Sometimes the worst candidate, is being voted into power. We are here at Revelation TV. The Bible says the race is not to the swift, bread to the wise, but time and chance happens to all. So we take it as at the end of the day, in as much as the people have the voice, in voting, the Latino says vox populis, vox Dei, because they are looking at the democratic tenets. So and the majority wins and things like that. But I can assure you that we had the best candidate, we had the best manifesto, and we meant well to the Zambian citizens. Perhaps we needed to do 1 or 2 things in terms of our homework, in terms of mobilization, and maybe reaching out to the people out there, and maybe making the symbol known, because obviously there was sometimes a bit of a confusion in terms of our symbol. Of course, our symbol, our communication symbol, is raising both hands in prayer, and then but on the on the ballot, the symbol is there's 2 kettles, a cabbage, and the graduation hat. So perhaps those are some of the few things that we needed to, and obviously to attach the candidate to the president, Mr. Charles Chanda, who also means well to the people of Lusaka as well as the country as a whole. So the lessons being learned are experience. So we've got an experience. We know that it is 2011, 2022 polling agents that we need, and how many polling districts are around in Lusaka, and so it was a bigger election that was we were trying to learn this and that. Not that we didn't know anything, but obviously getting into it. We don't want to be a political party that will be experts in talking and in analyzing issues and in reading books, being Google leaders who knows every definition of every word, but they don't know what to do when it comes to getting on the ground. We came out number, not very good, but very good at the end of the day, because we are starting from 0. So we had 1,000 plus in terms of people who casted their vote in our favor. Of course, there were other spoiled votes where somebody would vote for a UPPZ and another party. Those were a lot of votes, because obviously we had this communication. A lot of people knew us, and now it's only that most of our voters were kind of new voters. So it is clear that from this election, we have known that when people are fatigued with election, they tend to avoid going to vote, to cast their vote on that particular day. And then we have also learned that when there is bad governance and when people lose confidence in a body that looks at the issues of election, then we see people being demotivated, lacking the zeal to go and cast their vote, because they think even if in vote at the end of the day the winner will still as a winner still more, and then they also think that niza pitako benefit vichano or voted. So I'm trying to talk about apart from the lessons, I'm trying to talk about also the issues of we might not call it apathy. It's boycott. There was no apathy per se in the when it comes to the issue of voting. There was no apathy, but people boycotted. Okay. They were just saying enough is enough. Mukudia mweka. You see. So when people are boycotting, they were not boycotting because they didn't want maybe UPPZ to win. Everyone wanted an opposition to take this particular seat, but they were boycotting to show that they have got no confidence in the ECZ, and they are tired of the PF, and they are tired of these same faces. So they were kind of people boycotted this election. So sometimes when you do the other thing, you in turn affect the other. So that's why you see the only few people that went to vote could have been those that had HTenge material. That people spent a lot, gave a lot in terms of wooing voters and paying voters and transporting people to go and vote and all those things. So it was just an issue of who has benefited what. Okay. Those are the only people who went to vote, for example, under the PF. And but we thank God that we had genuine supporters who came to support us with or without a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. Of course, they never benefited the Jiteng, they never benefited the T-shirt, but they still came and they casted their vote, and they voted for Leo Madarisom Sukwa and the UPPZ. So we have a task. If we're talking about the lessons, we have a task as UPPZ to educate the people out there that even if you seem not to be benefiting out of these issues of politics, it is very, very important to vote, because it is only through your vote that is how your voice will be louder. So we have a task to encourage people to vote. We have a task to encourage especially the youths to vote, because the youths are in numbers. We have a task to encourage the women out there as to come out in numbers to come and vote, to vote whenever we have an election, because the women, the Azmais, they are the people who feel the hardships that we are going through. Ngati mwana saenda ku school ni mzimai wamena sewanika, ngati walibea sopo ni mzimai wamena sewanika, ngati wamuna sewenza ni mzimai wamena sewanika. So that's why the women out there, Azmai, you need to come out and make a voice known, and when there is an election you need to vote. Osa kambarati bamadiaweka ngati wa PF bamadiaweka olapina talima votera wenango minister mawina and all those things. Come out and vote, and you have your favorite party, the UPPZ, forming government. So there are so many lessons that we can learn from the past election. As for us, it's just a technical party. We trusted people that we were not supposed to trust sometimes, when you're starting. But all went well. It was the only political party, I think, that made sure that all those that worked as polling agents, polling and polling assistant, they were sorted out. Okay. Within a day, they were all sorted out. It is only the United, Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia, because we're looking at prosperity. Mm-hmm. We want people to have a prosperous mind. We want people to be prosperous. We want, to have a productive and prosperous mind, with or without money. You see, with or without is in Chito. Nowadays, life is so hard, but we can still think progressive, and we can still think productive. We want peace. That's why we had to make sure that our team was intact. Our team had everything that they needed during the election, and we provided all we could because it is our duty and our responsibility to see to it that Bantu they have what they need. And talking of the hope for Zambia, we are participating in these elections because we want to transform the lives of the people.
Okay. Now, when we have a new mayor in the office by the name of Miles Sampa, and he made a lot of promises during the campaigns. As UPPZ, what are your expectations? Maybe in the first 100 days that he promised to do certain things like free Wi-Fi in all public places, markets, bus stations, airports, and many other things that he had promised. Now, as UPPZ, what are your expectations from Mr. Miles Sampa?
Expectations? There can never be any expectations from our colleagues from the PF. We will be dreaming if we expect anything from the PF. We can't expect anything. But we can only wish them well. You see, there is nothing. Our colleagues are full of promises. They promise too much. They overpromise. They show 90 days, 100 days. Those are just petty promises that they do. So they overpromise. Our colleagues have a lot of pettiness in them. Our colleagues also they lack potential to do certain things. Our colleagues have brought poverty. So they promise, they are petty, and they bring out poverty in the wrong land because their potential is wasted on trivial things. So you cannot even talk about you cannot even talk about the issues of internet. People don't have phones. People don't have phones. They have Motorola school. How can you even promise them internet? Our colleagues in the PF are so detached from reality. They are so detached from reality. That's why what did they promise? Look at their promises. One, it was story. I don't know how many stories. Graveyard. At least for a market, which they will not do. But they talked about burial site. They talked about internet. So unrealistic, and so in the other world. They are so in the other world. That's why they are losing touch with the people. I say the only thing that they can do is to give handouts so that a few people can vote for them, and then make sure that apathy, there is too much apathy so that it can benefit them. So you ask expectations. I don't think we need to expect anything from the PF. I don't think so, because if we expect anything from the PF, will increase in terms of poverty. We will have a lot of poverty. The poverty levels will go up. If you expect anything from the PF, uzagona banja, uzagona njala. So I would encourage our colleagues or anyone not at all, not and never to expect anything from the PF. Okay. Especially from the colleague from what's the place? The one who had some taxis around and all those things. You can't expect anything from him. Okay. Nothing will change. Okay. You come here, you invite me again and tell me that he has fulfilled this. Oh, I'll be shocked. Nothing will change. Not in this world. Maybe in the next world where they're putting 5 stories or is it 100 stories of burial site? Maybe in that world. But in this world, they cannot do anything. There's nothing to expect. Okay. So we can just pray. Since I know that people watch Revelation TV are, Christian in nature. What you can do, the Bible says, "Cursed is a man who depends upon a man," and the cursed, worst of all, is a person who can hope for anything good from the PF. So what you can do is just to pray that God gives us a leader who will do the right thing in this country. Okay. Now we have a vacant seat in Kasenengwa, and PF and UPND have both adopted their preferred candidates to stand in the next by-elections in Kasenengwa constituency. As UPPZ, are you fielding any candidate in Kasenengwa? Of course, we are fielding a candidate in Kasenengwa constituency, and we have a candidate in Kasenengwa constituency. Okay. We are fielding candidates in Kayombo. We are fielding candidates because there are 5. We have 5 other elections that we are participating. In Mabidi Ward, that is in Mongu, we have a candidate. We also have a candidate in I said in Kenyauma. We also have a candidate in Solwezi, as well as in Kasempa. So we have candidates, including the same Kasenenga. So as the UPPZ, we are a party that is growing. We have learned a few lessons from the past 2 elections that we have had, the Chilanga by-election and the 3 elections that we participated into, mayoral and other council chairpersonship elections. So we are graduating now. We are participating in local government as well as another parliamentary election, and we are ready. Our message is simple: ulemu kwa lini. Yeah, ulemu kwa lini. That is our message in Kasenengwa. We want respect to be given back to the Alimi, and we don't want these issues of somebody cannot think straight and you can't make one decision. This organization, FRI makes this decision, this one comes and says no, it's wrong, and this one, no, you can't run a country like that. You can run a country in an organized manner. It is not a circus. It's not your house. If you make decisions where a son makes a decision and then the father comes and make a different decision, the mother comes and say no, decision, TV and others, you can't run a country like your house, which is disorganized. A country needs to be run accordingly. So Kasenengwa is definitely for the UPPZ, coming with fire, coming with wildfire, and we're going to get that particular seat. So we're ready for Kasenengwa. When it comes to Mabidi Ward in the Luena constituency, that is Limulunga district, that one we're going to just carry it without any problems. That's our seat. So all these other small political parties which were big yesterday, they will know that now there is UPPZ that is coming with wildfire.
Okay. Now, I think recently I was following what the President, Charles Chanda, was on his Facebook page concerning new appointments of the SG, shadow members of parliament, mayors, and other party appointees. Maybe try to elaborate more on those and how they will help grow the party ahead of the 2021 general election.
The United Prosperous and Peaceful Party is a political party that is looking at how best we can work with the leadership that UPPZ President Charles Chanda is grooming. We are also aware that this is a party that is growing like wildfire. It's just shooting up like wildfire, and we are attracting a number of people coming into joining this particular political party. But one thing is for sure. Is that there are people that are coming on board, and there are people that are being trained by the President Charles Chanda, and he's saying, we are not politicians, but we are leaders. By the way, there's a book that the President is writing called I'm not a politician, but a leader. Now, these appointments, we have an SG. We had another SG who, we parted. We couldn't continue working with them. So we were very quiet on the issues of the SG, deputy SG, and things like that. Okay. So the SG is there doing his studies. So there was a vacancy in the position of the deputy SG. Okay. So the appointment that you saw was just filling a vacancy of the deputy SG. Okay. Madam Tipezenjipiri was picked, Priska Tipezenjipiri. Okay. So she's the new deputy SG and acting as SG because the SG is doing his studies. The vice president is also doing his studies out of the country and all that. So the party is intact, and people, as we are Zambians, when the party is growing. We're doing these activities, a lot of activities. All people could concentrate, but where is the SG? Where is the SG? So it's a talk of position. Even when people come to my office, I often tell them, it's not about the position, you see, because anyone can be a leader, because anyone can be a follower. As long as you are once a follower, you can be a leader, and God can, make you to be anything. It's about what impact we are making. You see, about how we are building from the grassroots going upwards. It's not from the top going downwards. So we need to start from the grassroots going upwards. And the appointment of the SG, something that the deputy SG who is acting as SG, something that is timely, and something that came at the right time when we are now engaging in a number of elections. We have a number of elections. We had a few elections. Now we are building up. The first election that we contested was one election. Then there was another by-election we contested in 3 seats. Then another by-election from 3 we're contesting in 5. So we are gradually, growing very quickly. Of course, in uneven numbers, but still we are. Growing at that particular rate. So there is need for those offices to be filled. The shadow MPs have a mandate, and the mandate is to start working immediately. Wherever there is an issue, we were in Chikankata where we were supposed to build a clinic, and our colleagues refused us to build a clinic in there. They refused to get the cement that we had donated, about 100 bags and other things. So it is a responsibility of the shadow MP, if there is a shadow MP, to handle such projects. So when we are doing such project, we'll do it through a shadow MP. So it will be the shadow MP who is in charge of this particular project, and at the end of the day, the shadow MP built a clinic through the UPPZ and things like that. So the positions of shadow MPs are very, very important to the UPPZ, because we want to decentralize work. We want to offload work from the president, and these shadow MPs are working as campaign managers for the big picture, which is CC 2021, which has a number of projects, 1821 and other projects. So these shadow MPs, the direct link with the community out there, the people on the grassroots, as well as with the president. So the shadow MPs, in short, we are having an interaction that is aimed at the growth of the party, as well as looking at how best we can make the party win come 2021.
Okay. Now, UPPZ has also embarked on a land empowerment policy, and we heard from the Minister of Lands, Honorable Jini Kapata, saying that people should, go to a ministry before they can buy any piece of land. What's your position as UPPZ? Does that statement, deter you from continuing to empower Zambians with, land where they can build their own houses?
Jini Kapata is just a member of Parliament who has been lucky enough, besides all her posts, to be appointed as Minister of Lands. She might not be Minister of Lands forever. First of all, people on the ground, that is when it comes to Mandevu, I don't think they really, like her at the moment. Maybe liking might not, but I think she has lost support. And sometimes the last kicks of a dying horse are just like that. So you start saying anything, you see, because you are in your dying minutes. It's death wish and all those things in terms of your political career. So these are people who should retire because they have failed to deliver. They have made people destitute. In Zombe, Jini Kapata made people destitute, and in different areas where people's houses have been demolished without a second thought and without a plan. They have left people to build until they started living in these houses, and then at the end of the day, they come and demolish these houses. Even when you want to acquire land is divided into two: traditional land and state land. And the traditional land is held under a situation where collective responsibility. You cannot sell traditional land without the consent of the other, you see. So when you sell the traditional land, you need to inform the headman, and the headman informs the chief, and what. So you hold that land collectively. So government has been stealing traditional land from the people, and demolishing people's houses by quickly getting titles. And you know that when you're getting title, you need to survey the land. And these are people who would survey the land and find that there are people on this particular land, and yet they don't take the report that this particular land that you have sold to these people, there are occupants there. You see? So you'll be shocked that there's a title for this land, when it was just a traditional land. So, under the Jinika Patas and PF, land has been commercialized to a level where only those that are rich can have land. The Chinese, the Lebanese, the Indians, the Somalians, and the list goes on. So they are selling batolisha chino chishi kubaswamashi, and it's a very sad development that baswamashi vesa muno muchishi chesu to come and lead and rule us, because very soon we will not have a Zambia who will have some title deeds of Lebanese, Ethiopians, Chinese, and all those things. And then, so it is because of the carelessness of our colleagues like the Jinika Patas and things. Okay. So if she talks about people coming to verify, yes, let them go and verify. But as the UPPZ, we have a massive land empowerment program that is aimed at improving the life of a tenant in Chiwolia, in Mandevu. Those houses, my title deeds, even in Kamala South where they do not have title deeds. We, the UPPZ, have empowered people with land at 2,500 kwacha, titled land, few kilometers from Makeni-Konga. So, of course, she's not talking about UPPZ. She's talking about that land that these other people sell, which is, which has no, these other papers. But United, Prosperous, and Peaceful Zambia will continue to empower Zambians with land, and no one in Zambia will be able to fight this good cause, because this good cause is aimed at making the lives of a Zambian, the life of a Zambian better, not a Chinese. We are not going to entertain a leader who wants to praise a foreigner and forget about a Zambian, because this is a case. It is a case to have a situation where only foreigners are owning land, good land. Now look at Kamwala. Zambians are being displaced. Kamwala, Zambians are being displaced. In Rhodes Park and other places, there are few Zambians who own land there, who own these houses. It's foreigners that are coming in. Do you know where Zambians are going? They're going in the outskirts. And do you know what has happened? So an Indian would drive to town and Gulisa Abriramo, just a few kilometers are in town. Zambian packed up as a plot, for him to come to town, he has to pass through a toll gate. So a Zambian will be taxed twice. First of all, fuel, konkara ngutari kwenye pesa land. Back to choke kwa kara kutari kupaza uzapita pa toll gate. Pashimawala and this. So now Lusaka is surrounded by toll gates, and you are saying that there is no land in Lusaka. The only land which is there is for the Indians and Chinese, because they can buy us off. When they buy us off, we go in the outskirts, and then we have to pay to come into our city. Wow! Chishi chanyonyoka. Oh, chanyonyola chishi.
Now there's an SMS, and I want to relate this to what President South China put on his Facebook page. She's, I don't know, there's no name here, but saying, even in comrade, how will UPPZ going to hand education sector in terms of funding in schools? And I was reading on the Facebook page of Mr. Charles Chan, where he was saying that in 2021 you will dismantle the current exam-centered system of education and reintroduce skills and vocational training, because he said we need to train carpenters, fashion designers, plumbers, and that you cannot all be trained for collar jobs. So maybe in the next 10 minutes that we have, how is it going to handle the issue of the education sector vis-a-vis the funding to the education sector, and listen to what the president said, moving away from the exam-centered kind of, education system. So maybe in the next 8 minutes we can address those 3 components. 1, the funding to education sector. 2, the issue of dealing away with the exam-centered, system, and also to reintroduce vocational skills training in that.
Wow, interesting. Our education system has been exam-centered for sure. When you're in grade 6, grade 7, grade 5, you'll be told that uzalemba exam manja, you need to prepare. You finish your exam and then you study for the exam. Have you ever studied for an exam? When you study for exam, immediately after an exam, you don't remember what you studied. You pass the exams, but you will not remember because you only studied overnight for an exam. Worst of all, if they tell you that if you are grade 9, that Uzabwera Nisha Slopas, Uzabwera ni Zwangendava as an S, you didn't know Zwangenda. You study Zwangenda, it will be in your head. By the time you finish writing that S of Zwangenda in an exam room, next day you don't know any word about Zwangenda. You don't know anything about Zwangenda. So the pressure of having an exam, an education system that is exam-centered is that you have people who are educated or who have passed, but they do not have the intelligence. They do not have the knowledge. You see, because they only start overnight. They will make sure that they burn all the kolovoy and things until dawn, so that they can grasp something to just go and write an exam, and they will pass with flying colors. Go to the university, they can perform. They can perform. So, and then that is the reason why everyone after going to school, finishing school and everything, the first thing that you start looking for is a job. Even grade 12, it's a job. Everyone is looking for a job because our education system is tailored in such a manner that there's nothing that you can do apart from a job. You go to grade 10, you are learning 9 subjects. For what? You are learning history, geography, about Canada. You are learning science, chemistry, physics, vonse na chinyanja wikepo. It's just so complicated. So what you want to do is to have a continuous assessment exams from grade 1. You can't proceed to grade 2 if you have not met certain standard. Those that proceed to grade 2 are those that have grasped certain understanding, certain logical elements of this particular class. In grade 3 it's the same. Grade 7 there is no need to write an exam, an exit exam, because we are making a lot of Vana Wangono to be out of school and they are not ready for that. You see? So we need to have continuous assessment. So you can't go to grade 7 if you have not attained certain level of understanding and you have not grasped certain concepts. Until you grasp, so you remain in grade 6 until you reach to a level where you understand certain things and you are able to do certain logical conclusion. Those issues of special paper 1, special paper 2 and all those things, sometimes they don't even make sense, but they will make sense if they become part of you and you know what is meant, in such. So we'll have exit exam at grade 9, and this exit exam will allow those that fails to repeat, to write again. And if you repeat and write and fails, then you need to go to some skills, development and things like that, carpentry, and all those mechanics, and because there are certain things that don't need you to know how to do math for you to be a carpenter. Why should you go and do simultaneous with equation and perpendicular to the what and all those things? You don't need all those things. All you need is just to see you make a table. That's it. So we need skills. We need hands-on skills. Kutunga muntu shuwa in grade 7. You can so you can tunga a shirt, a good jacket also in the school. So we need to harness these potentials in people. And then in grade 12, going to university, you don't need to apply for a bursary if you have 6 points. Why? So 6 points is enough for you to go to have a bursary between 6 and 10 points. You know, you have an automatic bursary, and then between 11 to maybe 15, you have to pay a certain amount, maybe it's 25% or something like that. So bursary will be like that. You don't need to. Your qualifications are application enough for a bursary. So we are saying that we want to invest in education because the next generation, it's dependent on how they take education. That's how we're going to see this change that we want to see. But we don't want to have educated fools, people who are just educated, just no books, but they don't have the wisdom, they don't have the know-how, you know, how to handle certain situations, because you need to have time, you need to have a space for education, as reading. That's why you see these politicians, you see a lot of politicians who they will read the statement and then tomorrow they respond. If somebody says this, they will read the constitution, tomorrow they issue a statement on constitution. They read this, they issue. So these people know, all they know is they read the whole night and then they respond. So they can't think on their own. It's just reading, and it's not just about reading. It's about what is it that you understand out of these things that you read. So we want to change the education system so that it can, be up to the standard. You can't have a nation whose students buy electronic, they can't even make a simple Motorola roja round, come to around that. You see, if we are on this level at this at this time and era, so we need to have a situation where once a graduate, they are able to manufacture these simple things. Okay. That is the education that we are looking at as the UPPZ. We don't want to be importing everything. So we don't have a machine to make toothpick because our engineers, they don't know how to make some of these things. They don't know the specification of a toothpick and all those things. No, we can't be importing. It's our education system that requires you to work as an accountant, work as a what? Work as a teacher. You can't have an education system that is orienting you, that is orienting the whole population to go and work somewhere. Then you will not have entrepreneurs. You have Chinese entrepreneurs, Indians entrepreneurs, Lebanese entrepreneurs. They will be cooking shima in town for you to eat. Having restaurant in town, cooking shima and vegetable. Visage, this is Lebanese. Wow, Zambia. We really need to change our education system. It's only the UPPZ that can do that.
Okay. No, it has been a pleasure, Mr. Kope, having you on the program this evening.
Thank you very much.
Hoping to see you and the entire leadership coming to Revelation TV and help people understand some of these things that happen in the nation.
We're speaking on behalf of Mr. Charles Chanda, so at least we have represented him.
Ably. Thank you. This has been The Society, which comes to you every Wednesday between 18 and 19 hours. And my guest was the UPPZ National Spokesperson, Francis Kope. From me, lovely Kayombo and the entire production team, good night and God bless you all, and continue watching Revelation TV. See you next week.
It clearly that we have forged signatures. Maybe you remember some of the
Worship and the body politic should not participate in partisan politics.
Pakateka n'abakwaka Injito, its preoccupation now is to give a good service to the people of Zambia.